Kira K. Dixon joins us once again from Riviera. And Kira, we all know when Rory is on, he is so tough to beat. And although he didn't play as well at Pebble, he did finish second in the desert at one event on the DP World Tour and then won in Dubai the following week. You caught up with him, being Rory McIlroy. How would you describe his attitude right now?
Todd, I would describe Rory's attitude as extremely positive, especially because this is a place that he really likes. And as you know, when Rory has an affinity for the venue, there's something I think that speaks to him as well. And he loves the Genesis Invitational and Riviera. I mean, one of the lasting images that I'll always have just from reporting and working in golf is last year on Thursday, he played in the first round with Tiger Woods and Justin Thomas, and all of them made birdie on 18. And they all kind of looked at each other with these wry grins, and just an emotional and really happy place for Rory McIlroy. And yesterday, he told me exactly why that is.
It is. It's great being back. I didn't really play this tournament a lot at the start of my career, and then since I think like 2015, I don't think I've missed it since. So it's one of my favorite stops on tour. Love the golf course, love the area. Obviously that Tiger hosts this event is, it sort of makes it even more special. A different format this year, not as many guys, but still going with a cut, which will be interesting to see how that plays out on Friday. But yeah, excited to be back. I think if you ask most of the guys here, this would be one of their favorite courses on tour. So I think everyone's to be back, and nice to see some blue skies for a change.
Why interesting with the cut?
It's a like the three player hosted invitationals are a little different than the other signature events that don't have a cut. So it'll just be interesting to see how many guys are actually here for the weekend in terms of the 10-shot rule, and just how many. It'll just be interesting to see, just with this short a field and having a cut. It's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out on Friday night, which hopefully will be another storyline for the event.
Well, something that's been interesting is your start to the season. A great start, of course, in the desert, and you had to battle the weather at Pebble. What are the keys in your game you're focusing on as you're coming into this week?
Yeah, so I had some good time with my coach, Michael Bannon, last week at home, and we just worked on a couple of simple things that I had sort of worked on in the middle of last year and had some success with coming out of the sort of PGA Championship into the summer. And sort of got back to a few basics. I was getting a left miss with a driver quite a bit, which was quite destructive in the first event in Dubai and then at Pebble Beach as well. So just trying to iron a couple of things out, but we did some really good work last week, and I feel pretty good going into this week.
In terms of your schedule moving forward, we know that you're playing Cognizant, we know that you're playing Valero. It's a busy schedule heading into the majors. Can you give us a little bit of insight into the decision making that you've made when it comes to your schedule?
Yeah, I feel like I just play better when I play a lot. I think my game's sharper. I think better around the golf course. Sometimes this part of the season is quite stop-start for me, so week on, week off, week on, but I sort of wanted to get into a run of events, especially going into that major season. And it's a little different than what I've done the previous few years, but I'm excited to play. I'm a professional golfer. It's what I do. And, it's nice to stay busy. So looking forward to the next few weeks.
Todd, he mentioned that work that he's been doing with his coach, Michael Bannon. I walked with him yesterday. I walked with him for 3 or 4 holes this morning in the Pro-Am, and he said that the game is feeling really good. It feels like the work that he's been putting in with him is really showing up here on the golf course. And fun fact for Rory's Pro-Am earlier this morning, he was actually first off at 6:30, and his usual caddy, Harry Diamond, got to kind of just have a nice walk along with him today because he had a nice kid from Ireland, got to fly out. He had won a sweepstakes and got to be here to caddy for Rory, which is a nice experience for him. And Rory, again, excited to tee it up at the Genesis Invitational.
Yeah, and I'm sure he was so invested having that young man on his bag as well. Kira, as always, appreciate your time.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that is Kira Kate Dixon. In regards to how Rory has played the Genesis Invitational, he is making his 8th start. He's made 6 cuts. He's got 3 top 10s, a tie for 4th in 2019, a tie for 5th in 2020, and a tie for 10th in 2022. So, Now, he does like it there. He hasn't quite crossed the threshold to win. But what do you like about Rory McIlroy heading into this week?
We were both at Pebble Beach. I think what we saw there is pretty much what we're going to see, at least through Augusta. I mean, everything except for the driver looked very, very solid. He said there were some left misses that, I love the word he used, was destructive. I'm not quite sure I agree with that, but I see where he's going from. He wins early in the year in the desert out in Dubai. I think he's exactly where he wants to be. But this conversation, and look, this is where Tiger Woods made things a little unfair for everyone, because he figured out the formula to peak for those 4 events that matter the most, of course, the major championships. And Rory is trying to do that, and that's why he's playing 6 events on the PGA Tour before he gets to Augusta National. Now, if you go back to 2015, which is the year he essentially started working on that career Grand Slam, he's done it a whole bunch of different ways. In 15, he played 3 tour events leading into the Masters. In certain other years, in 2018, he played 6. In 2019, he played 7. And it seems like he's leaning in that direction now to play more going into the Masters, which means the world to him. It's worth pointing out that in 2022, he only played 4 events, and he had his best chance to win the career Grand Slam that year at Augusta.
Yeah, so 6 PGA Tour events he's going to play prior to the Masters, and you add on those 2 they played on the DP World Tour in the desert. So that's 8 tournaments that he's going to play prior to the Masters. And I had a chance to talk to him at Pebble, and he says he likes to play. You heard him say he likes to play a lot of golf. He likes to be at a big event after playing at least the week before. He feels like his 3rd event in a row is when he is really peaking, and that's what he's going to be doing heading into the Players. He's going to play the Cognizant and West Palm Beach, and then he's going to go north to play API in Orlando, and then the Players would be that 3rd event. The Masters will be the 2nd event in that little stretch.
After San Antonio.
Yeah, after San Antonio. So another thing that I've noticed about Rory, too, he seems more relaxed. And part of that is the fact that he has unburdened himself, I guess, if that's the way you want to use it, with being a PGA Tour Policy Board member. He was heavily in the throes with the board as a member, trying to get these deals together, trying to make sure that the PGA Tour is not only trying to save players to remain on the PGA Tour and not have them go to live, but also to elevate purses and existence and FedEx Cup points and so on. He resigned from the board in the late part of last year. Adam Scott just became a PGA Tour Policy Board member in January, replacing Charlie Hoffman. And by the way, Charlie Hoffman's not on the board. He nearly won in Phoenix, just saying.